Menopause simply means the final period. It is a definition of an absolute point in time, a woman's final period. Clearly, this is a diagnosis which can only be made in retrospect. So if you are under 50, your point in time is when you haven't had a period for 2 years. If you're over 50, it's 1 year. Perimenopause means the transitional time leading up to the final menstrual period. During this time, women are likely to be experiencing symptoms of estrogen deficiency, and their periods are likely to be changing, becoming heavier, lighter, or less frequent. Postmenopausal refers to the time following the final menstrual period. During this time, women will transition from being symptomatic to asymptomatic. These changes occur because the finite number of egg cells that we were born with gradually decrease throughout our reproductive life. As the cells decrease, the ovaries are less able to produce estrogen and progesterone, which leads to symptoms of estrogen deficiency and ultimately the final period. So why are these definitions important when all that matters to you is your symptoms? These distinctions are important to your clinician to determine what type of HRT you may need, to control your bleeding patterns, but most importantly, to determine when and if extra investigations may be needed. In reality, when people talk about menopause, what they're referring to is what I like to call the menopause transition, which encompasses the perimenopausal and the postmenopausal phase where people are symptomatic. There is no specific right age for menopause. The average age is 51. 80% of women will have hit their menopause by the age of 54, but 1% will be under 40 and 0.1% will be under 30. So the impact of the menopause transition is very variable from woman to woman. 25% won't experience any significant symptoms at all, whilst other women are hugely debilitated. Symptoms tend to begin around the mid to late 40s, with the hot sweats, what we call the vasomotor symptoms, on average lasting about 7 years, and the other symptoms about 10. Menopause affects our whole body, from our head to our toes and everything in between. Symptoms broadly fall into 4 categories: vasomotor, genitourinary, cognitive, and musculoskeletal. Vasomotor symptoms are hot flushes, hot flashes, night sweats, affect about 75% of women. These range from flushes that sweep through your body, being dripping with sweat, or night sweats that disturb your sleep. Genitourinary symptoms refers to symptoms related to sexual function and symptoms related to vaginal dryness. These are very common. 43% of women will experience reduced libido and 35% of women will experience vaginal dryness. Other symptoms include recurrent urinary tract and thrush-like infections. Cognitive symptoms include brain fog, mood changes, anxiety, and irritability. Approximately 40% of women report memory and concentration issues, and about 15-20% of women struggle with anxiety. Musculoskeletal symptoms include joint pain, generalized aches and pains, being more prone to injury and slow to recover, and generalized tiredness. And finally, a word on weight gain. Whilst not really a symptom, most women feel it's a symptom. It happens through the menopause transition as our bodies try to find alternative sources of estrogen as the estrogen produced by the ovary naturally declines. Fat cells produce estrogen, and the greater the fat mass, the more estrogen they produce. Postmenopausally, fat becomes our primary source of estrogen. Clever, but rather annoying. So that's all for today. Thanks for listening.